How's it going, everybody? I'm doing my informative speech on medical marijuana. Weed, pot, dope, cannabis, grass, marijuana. For years, these have been negative stigmas attached to this plant, but that's exactly what it is, a plant, something that grows in the ground and is not inherently evil. Like some people believe, it is the use or misuse of it that is good or bad, not the plant itself. I think that it's time we look past all that we have been told about the dangers of marijuana and see that it actually has legitimate medical uses. I'd like to start off first with a little history of the use and regulation of marijuana. For thousands of years, marijuana has been used as medication and for intoxication. In 1931, 29 states had prohibited its use for non-medical purposes. Then in 1937, the federal government first got involved with the Marijuana Tax Act, which required anyone producing, distributing, or using marijuana for medical purposes to register and pay a tax, when effectively prohibited non-medical use of the drug, which effectively prohibited non-medical use of the drug. Then in late 1960s, there was a large increase in medical use in adolescents and young adults, which prompted the government to take even harsher action. In 1970, the Controlled Substance Act was passed, which classified marijuana as a Schedule I drug. Schedule I drug has no known medical use and has a large potential for abuse. But recent studies have shown that marijuana actually has medical uses, and according to a 1997 Institute of Medical Studies, there were upward of 30 potential uses. Shortly after the passage of the Controlled Substance Act, a UCLA researcher discovered the first medical use of marijuana. He discovered that the use of marijuana helps reduce pressure in the eye, which helps people who are suffering from glaucoma, a group of diseases that are the second leading cause of blindness in the world. These findings were able to help save many glaucoma patients from blindness. This development also allowed for more people to research and find new discoveries about the medical benefits of marijuana. Soon afterwards, when chemotherapy was just starting to become popular to fight cancer, some patients who were also marijuana smokers realized that its use helped reduce the nausea that is often caused by chemotherapy. Marijuana has been known to help decrease chronic pain, specifically that is caused by cancer. Studies have shown that a small dose of marijuana has comparable results to that of a medium dose of codeine. The patient using marijuana, however, also showed improved mood, increased well-being, and less anxiety. One unexpected benefit of marijuana use is the increase of appetite. Many AIDS patients develop something called wasting syndrome. That is the loss of over 10% of body weight due to fever and other effects. For these people, the loss of as little as 5% of their body weight is associated with reduced survival. Many cancer patients also lose weight during chemotherapy as well. The use of marijuana causes appetite stimulation and can help many of these people to gain back some of the weight that they have lost. Even with all these benefits, there are still many things that have to be taken into consideration before using marijuana. The first of these is whether the benefits outweigh the risks, because according to the FDA, any drug that is marked in the United States must undergo rigorous scientific testing. The approval process mandated by this act ensures that claims of safety and therapeutic values are supported by clinical evidence and keeps unsafe, ineffective, and dangerous drugs off the market. The total deaths caused by marijuana are 0, while the other medications used to treat nausea caused 196 deaths. Those treating muscle spasms contributed 118 deaths, and those treating psychosis, 1,593 deaths. Marijuana causes 0 deaths, while other prescribed drugs were the primary causes of 10,000 deaths. I believe that their numbers speak for themselves. I'm not saying that these other medications are bad, per se, but they all have medical uses and have been evaluated to be beneficial. But in terms of death, marijuana is much safer than many of these drugs. But that is not the only thing we look at when determining whether a drug is safe. Other things must be looked at as well, and those include addiction and dependency, withdrawal, tolerance, and the side effects. There are many conflicting reports on the addictive properties of marijuana. The White House Office of National Drug Control Policy states that it is a highly addictive drug that causes physical dependency and has withdrawal symptoms. However, an article in the November 4th, 2002 issue of Time magazine stated that the risk of becoming dependent on marijuana is comparatively low. Just 9% of those who have used the drug develop dependency. By comparison, 15% of drinkers become dependent on alcohol, and 23% of heroin users get hooked. A third of tobacco smokers become dependent to cigarettes. Withdrawal symptoms have been identified, but they are very mild and subtle in comparison to the physical symptoms of alcohol or heroin withdrawals. These symptoms include irritability, mild agitation, insomnia, sleep disturbance, nausea, and cramping. But they are short-lived, and most symptoms went away in about 4 days. One of the most controversial effects claimed for marijuana is something called a motivational syndrome, which is a term used when young people drop out of social activities and show little interest in school or work. One of the main obstacles of medical marijuana is not the side effects of it, but the connection between medical use and the abuse of the drug. Many people think that by making marijuana legal for medical use also opens the floodgates and would be a big step in the legalization of all marijuana use. I don't necessarily think that would be a bad thing, but I believe that they are two completely different issues. Just like the legal medical use of painkillers such as Oxycontin and morphine, and their illegal abuse are completely different. Another issue is that it also would cause an increase in recreational marijuana use. But if medical marijuana was as strictly regulated as that of other medications, I see no reason that its use would increase. In conclusion, I think that marijuana is a practical medication. The benefits of marijuana, while used in conjunction with other treatments options, could be very beneficial. The use of it must be carefully considered for every person, just like that of every other medication. But I think that it should be at least an option. Thank you for your time.